Hi, welcome to the best Zoom call in America. It's me, Pat Sajak. Is he still alive? I think he is still alive. Okay. I thought maybe Ryan Seacrest replaced him in the middle of the night one night, and no one said anything. But he's still out there. He's still doing it. It's so nice to be on this Zoom call with you. It's so cool that Zoom now has AI features. I love AI featurettes as used in the most normal, mundane, regular program parts of life. We need more AI in everything. Just a little button that's like, turn on the AI part of this so you can just experience this in a worser way than it was before. Keep that up, everybody. Keep adding a little star thing in the corner that you can click. You want to add AI to your recipe? Let's do that. This is the podcast. It's me and Johnny Pemberton. You can see me live in St. Louis at the Helium Comedy Club, November 23rd. I think it is November 23rd. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Let me just look. I gotta look. If I don't look, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, okay, the incidence for being wrong is bad. 23rd, Saturday, November 23rd, 2 shows, 1 night, St. Louis. I did this for a kid. He's dying. There's a kid who's dying there. He wanted me to come out last minute to do 2 shows in 1 night in St. Louis, so I'm doing it for this dying kid. His name's Dying Brian. He's a sweet kid. He's a wonderful little sweet boy named Dying Brian. He lost most of his hair. It's cancer. We know that. So I'm helping out Dying Brian by doing 2 shows in 1 night in St. Louis at Helium. Get tickets now. Let's sell it out, and I'll just be I'll be a ball of special orgasmic energy. Otherwise, I can tell you I'll be in Toronto, the city. It's Canada. It's a great place. I think those tickets are almost sold out at this point. But that's December 6th and 7th, 2 nights at Comedy Bar, one of the most fantastic venues ever, too, in the great north there. I don't know what else I got for you here, really. I don't know. I mean, I could meander. We can always meander here on the Executive Buffet. This is a real meandering, great place to do that. But maybe we'll just get right into it. What else? I don't know what else I got to really tell you, except I just hit the smoke. I hit the fog button here. Talk about an abuse of power is a fog machine. There's nobody. If you can't abuse a fog machine, then you should just not do anything fun ever. If you see a fog machine and you don't want to push the button, God, maybe you're just really scared. Maybe you had an abusive dad, okay? Maybe it was a fog issue. Either way, let's get deep down here into the podcast. Let's start it off. This is a great one with a classic old, very classy, smart, super intelligent, hyper funny friend of mine, known him for many, many, many years. Back in the day when things were super cool, he was also being super cool and funny. It's Joe Mande here, everybody. Scribe Joe Mande, everybody. It's Joe Mande. Okay. Do.
Yeah.
Joe, great guy, cool guy, wonderful guy.
Thank you.
Loves basketball.
So much.
From the Midwest.
Yes.
Great guy. We trust Joe. We bring in Joe. When we need someone trustworthy, we call Joe.
Really?
I'm just saying, like, I'm saying, you know what I'm doing? I'm speaking from a producerial standpoint.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if we need someone we can trust, we bring in Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. You're kind of like a, what do you call it, a ringer now?
A ringer?
Aren't you a ringer? You're a ringer.
Is that a boxing term? I don't even know what a ringer.
Oh, a ringer's like when they need someone who's gonna be like a sure bet.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think it comes from like sports betting terms or some bullshit. I don't know where it comes from, but like a ringer's like.
It sounds like a bad thing.
It does
to
sound
me.
like a bad thing.
I guess I think a ringworm.
Have you had ringworm?
I've never had ringworm.
Have your
Thank
dogs
God.
ever had it?
No.
Oh.
Ooh,
You're-
there was a ringworm
A scare.
scare outbreak at my summer camp that
Really?
summer. A lot of kids were
Yeah.
getting the big mark.
K-
It's nasty.
Oh, right, because it gets on your skin, right? It's not like a traditional. Isn't ringworm actually a fungus?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so, but it's like
Yeah.
nasty. It's a giant. Yeah,
It's a
giant.
thing. Yeah, I was thinking of actual like pinworms. That's what's in. This is never mind. I'm moving on.
No, I love worm
I
talk.
was trying to be like Joe, you're a badass, and then we start talking about worms, and like less than one step away, we're talking about fucking worms.
This is what I bring. This is what people
Yeah.
want from their ringworm.
Oh, a sink. Is that still necessary? I cannot believe that in this day and age we're
Yeah.
still doing that.
Sink your damn
Yeah,
self.
fucking. Let's figure that out. I'm post sync. We're in a post sync world now. Kind of crazy. This is a crazy time, right?
Yeah. It's
Real talk.
real talk. It is weird to exist in like the transitional periods in
Yeah.
history. Like this is like a calm before a storm.
It
Like you
is.
know, bad stuff is gonna happen very soon. But like I'm just
Yeah.
kind of chilling right now, doing podcasts and living my life.
You have your special you got to promote.
I have to promote the
Gotta
special,
promote it out the
and
gate.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
lending me your platform.
Yes, this is a huge platform. We have a massive reach. It's probably people
mean-
who've already watched your special.
Yeah, I
who are
love that,
watching
and you
this.
know that's great, and that's how this works. Yeah, this is gonna come out like years from now.
Yeah, we're waiting until the next president after the next one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the new thing now. Is podcast is called time capsuling. It's
I
audio
like
time
that.
capsule. That kind of would be a
Yeah.
fun endeavor. Like if I was like Andy Warhol, I would just record hundreds of hours
Yeah.
of podcasts and just never release them.
or produce podcasts and they're only released if certain things in the future take place.
Oh, that would be cool, like triggers.
Yes.
It's like a trigger,
Yeah.
like a dead man switch type thing,
Right.
or it comes out when that person dies.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
ideal. If you could
Well, that
hold
would be
on to this,
cool.
if you could hold on to this,
A
yeah.
podcast where like we record underground, everyone signs NDAs, and it's the kind of thing where it's like you say whatever you want.
Well,
You
all
say
your secrets,
all your
dirty secrets.
It's like a Scientology
Yeah,
sort of
yes.
podcast.
Right.
And if you say something bad,
Okay, so you're pitching just a compromise podcast, basically.
sure, but
Yeah.
but only after you die, or maybe like what's it? Mark Twain's letters didn't get released until 100 years after he died.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where there's like a
I think you're onto something. This
could be
this
fun.
will be a success.
I mean, I would.
And then
love,
like you get frustrated that no one's dying, and then you start killing your
Oh,
guests
yeah.
off so you can release the episodes.
see, that's a movie.
Yeah, there's
That's
your
a-
movie.
There's your Joker 3.
Yeah, Nightcrawler 3. Did you see Joker 2?
I didn't yet. I kind
No.
of want. I just decided today. I said out loud. I was home. I was like, I want to see that movie because I think I'm probably gonna like it because people didn't like it.
Yes, it is the exact kind of movie I cannot wait for it to come to me for free.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
There's so many things now where it's like, ooh, it looks cool.
Yeah,
Not gonna pay.
not-
Not gonna pay. Or you know, what, I'll pay, but I'm not gonna leave my home and pay.
yeah. It is funny like the arbitrary lines in the sand one makes like I just at some point was like I shan't get Paramount Plus. Not
Oh,
doing
yeah,
it.
Me too. It's one of those
But
things where
why? I mean like I will spend, $15 on a sandwich.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the
Exactly.
same thing.
I believe it's what they call a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Is that the saying?
Yes.
Where does that come from? It's such a nice saying, such a pleasant.
A bridge too far.
Like I would love to see like Clint Eastwood drop.
I
that.
love those explanations of I just learned today what pulling all the stops means.
Okay,
Like where that
I think I know what it means. I
Okay.
have two guesses.
Yeah. Pulling out all the stops.
First one is an Oregon reference, and that's my first guess. Okay, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Okay,
What's your
well,
second guess? though?
Second guess was I learned recently that almost 90% of the things we say are references to sailing.
Interesting.
Like everything we
Yeah.
say is about how much it's difficult to sail.
Sailing does look like it sucks, but you are
It's
right.
the
It
worst.
is it's organs.
Right, you pull out all the valves.
Yeah, you have
so
to
you
pull
get the full
the
sound.
full force. Yeah. I should have known. You're an audio guy. You
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
kind of a-
But
I'm kind of an audio guy.
yeah.
You're more of a writing guy.
I guess so. Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah.
When I'm not called in to ring anything, audio related.
You ring with a pen, right?
Yeah, I ring with a pen with a quill.
Yeah.
Scribe. I was the Deadline article about my special came out, and they described me as a scribe, and then all the comments were scribes. Everyone making scribe jokes.
My best scribe.
It is. Is that? I was wondering. Is that old? Like Hollywood speak, like Variety. Yeah, I was like, okay, they're hearkening to something.
Like New York Post speak, where they just try to be all sassy and make alliterations and stuff. I think that's what it is. I love it. I love the hearkening back to a simpler time.
Simpler time, yeah.
Yeah, but we're from the Midwest though, so everything was simple.
We're both from Minnesota. That's interesting. I think the people need to know that.
Yeah.
What area were you from? Rochester.
You're from St. Paul.
St. Paul.
So you are a simple man.
I am. Yeah.
You really are.
But
You're
but live in the capital city.
Right. But you are Jewish.
I am
Jewish.
Okay. Can you bleep that? Yeah, not a lot of Jews. Not a lot of Jews in Minnesota.
But there is a substantial population in Minneapolis, St. Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that movie was supposed to be about, kind of in a way. Like,
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple.
No, that's a serious man.
A serious man.
Yeah, but
I confused a simple plan with a serious man.
That Simple Plan's also Minnesota, is it not?
I think it is Minnesota. Yes,
okay.
it is.
So you're that's
it's like
fair.
the dark side. The Jews are doing,
the
nice,
Jews
good
are
things,
getting horny for their next door neighbor,
and the
non-Jews are killing each other for money. And that's the difference between Gentiles and simple
It
Jews.
kind of is the truth. It kind of is true that non-Jews are pretty rugged.
There is something kind of like that. Something about like the Nordic, like Wisconsin, Minnesota. People are so nice, but you really think everyone you meet is capable of real violence.
Yeah.
If pushed a certain way,
Have you ever seen that movie with Nick Nolte and James Brolin? It's like I think it's called. God, what's it called? It's the guy who wrote Taxi Driver. What's his name? I can't remember anything anymore.
Me neither. It's a real problem.
The cover. I can see everything. I can see scenes from the movie. I can all these things. The guy who wrote Taxi Driver. His name. He also did that movie with Oscar Isaacs and Tiffany Haddish, where they're the card counter. That movie that came out recently.
Yeah. Wait, can we?
Excuse me.
Let's just pause.
Yeah, you gonna look it up? Okay. His name is. God, why don't I know this? Paul Schrader.
Paul
Schrader did a movie called Affliction.
Yes.
It takes place. That movie is fucking dark.
Yes. I actually I went on like a Paul Schrader little
Schrader Bender?
Schrader Bender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because his movie with Ethan Hawke that came out a few years ago.
What's it called?
God, what is wrong
It's
with
called
us?
like First Convicted or something like Twice Struck by the Lord.
First Reformed?
First Reformed.
That movie rules.
See, you know what? A lot of people I know whose opinion I value love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of like, I liked a lot of it.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I was kind of like, I don't know.
I was like...
You're not Catholic, though.
I'm not Catholic, but
Catholic.
I would set myself on fire.
For Jesus?
For Jesus, yeah.
For the idea of Jesus.
Yeah. So that resonated with me.
It's hard being Catholic, having people tell your tales like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still practicing?
I don't think it works that way. No, I'm not. I went to church, I think, a couple years ago. It's kind of like interesting to go to Catholic church just because it's such a series of rituals that it's interesting.
That's why Shia LaBeouf converted.
He did?
He liked the...
Converted from what?
I don't know, like... being from a clown family,
yeah,
and then
from having like a terrible,
and then he had a lot of bad PR, and I think Mel Gibson he formed a friendship with Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson got him to become Catholic is crazy.
Oh, that what you have to do?
To convert to Catholicism
it's not harder than Judaism.
No. I mean, no, I'm sure it's much simpler, but I'm saying like the actual act of doing it in the 21st century is psycho.
Yeah, it's kind of like a thing where you didn't grow up with this, and
Yeah.
you want to get into this,
right?
You want to get into alcoholism and like state-sanctioned rap.
Yeah, and like
Rape,
listen
rapismo.
to Latin, just droning
I
Latin.
mean, I wish they did Latin. They don't do Latin anymore. They haven't done Latin ever.
Really?
Some of the parishes were like teasing it just to bring people back in. Like, hey, we got something kind of new here. It's
Something kind of
weird.
new, and it's so old. It's
Yeah.
it's the oldest
Like
thing.
we're doing like a
yeah.
new thing. Hey, maybe you guys haven't heard this, but we're gonna do it in Latin because you're not listening anyway. So you might as well hear it in Latin.
Yeah, well, might as well. I mean, that is what's funny about Judaism is that like everything's in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And I can read. Basically, what my knowledge of Hebrew is so strange because I can read it
Really?
like
Still
phonetically.
to this day?
Phonetically, I know the alphabet. I can
Wow.
spell anything out, but I don't
that-
know what a single word means. You know what I mean? So imagine
Oh, I see
knowing
what you're
every
saying.
letter of the of
Right.
English alphabet, but having no connection to what the words are. You can just like sound out the letters in certain orders.
It's like you memorized a song in French.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're saying, but you know how
Yeah,
you can sing
and
the song.
I can sing any song in French. I just don't know what any
Right.
of it means.
So
yeah,
that's from your bar mitzvah, right?
yeah.
So you
yeah.
retained it.
I retained it. Yeah, actually, a sneaky thing me and my simple Jewish friends in Minnesota did in junior
you're
high.
being redundant when you say sneaky and Jewish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just being ourselves in class, but we would write notes in
Really?
in Hebrew. We were saying things in English, but writing it out in Hebrew
Using the words.
using
like
the
sorry,
letters.
right.
Yeah, so we could be talking shit about our teacher or whatever, but it would just look like scribbled nonsense. You
But
know?
she couldn't read it because it's
No,
Minnesota.
like she's
yeah.
gonna learn a whole new alphabet, but not the
Yeah.
actual language.
There's definitely no Jewish. I don't think I have any Jewish teachers in Minnesota for sure.
I certainly didn't have any.
Yeah.
I don't think.
It's
Yeah.
pretty monoculture there.
Did you have any hot teachers?
I had two.
Yeah.
I had one that was like hot in a way that felt like is this like a CIA sting or something weird like that? She was so hot. At one point, some friends of mine who lived near her and her husband, they saw her washing her car on the driveway in a bikini. I was like,
Okay.
what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yes,
That's crazy. She's cool.
that's nuts.
Yeah. What grade?
I think it was probably like maybe 7th grade.
See, that's so my hot
Right.
teacher was also 7th grade, and it's
And
like
that's
this is
truly
like it's like
unfair.
okay, you actually. If this woman sounds like she has a complex where like she gets off, like if she's
don't
washing
know
her
if she-
car in a
Well,
bikini, that's
this was on the weekend. It had nothing to do with school. My friend who lived near her just happened to see it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
Which is
is like a
striking
comical fantasy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just outstanding, crazy. She was probably pretty young, actually. She was a music teacher, and she was
Yeah.
married to, probably a doctor or someone who worked at Mayo.
Well, we wish
So-
her well. That's
Yeah.
cool. I once, speaking of like comical sort of fantasies, my friend and I were once at a, it wasn't a Blockbuster. It was like but it
Rave.
was like a video store, like video
Right.
update or something. And we saw our gym teacher return a stack of movies through the slot,
Right.
the return slot, and we were able to like look into the box to
And see
see
what they
what
were?
he returned, and he returned 4 movies, and they were Anal Islands 1 through 4.
Those
He watched the full collection.
You can rent those at a normal store?
Well, it wasn't like that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like a Blockbuster. It was like a sort of mom and pop
Oh.
video store with like the like beaded adult section in the
Oh,
back.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
So
it's
he
like-
was returning
Yeah.
4 Anal Island VHS tapes, and I think about it constantly to get
you
the
been in touch with
whole.
him?
Yeah. Well, he hated me
Well,
because he was
You were into missionary.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You weren't into anal, so he hated you.
like, oral stuff only for
Joe,
me.
you got to get out there and do some anal. I mean, do some extra work when
Yeah.
you're out there.
Oh man.
We had some cool gym teachers we had one for sure who, if she wasn't a lesbian, I'll fucking pay someone $20,000. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Had to
yeah.
be. She had a really gruff voice, and she loved to bowl.
Yeah, I think you probably nailed it.
Oh yeah, I think she cleaned up.
Yeah,
probably, too.
yeah.
She taught us to bowl. Like, we had bowling class in high school.
How? You go to an alley?
We go to a bowling alley. We all get in a van and go to a bowling alley.
That rules.
It was the coolest thing ever. There's also a lot of references to beer and Coach, her name was, she would go like, maybe I'm drinking, you know? Like, she would definitely wink, wink. Yeah, when I'm out here by myself, I'm drinking.
Yeah, and, bowling famously a solo activity. That's sort of sad to go bowling by yourself.
Actually, I have a feeling that she was probably having a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I bet. I don't know. I feel like the Midwest is, if you're like a gruff, larger woman who can handle herself physically, it's like lesbians in plain sight everywhere, probably.
Yeah, no, they're everywhere.
That's my theory.
They're everywhere. Are you a sex addict?
So first you asked me if I have any hot teachers.
Yeah.
And then you asked me that, like.
No. Well, what you said, one of my best friends was a sex addict, and it was just incredible watching him make eye contact with certain people.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not.
And so like I imagine I was picturing your coach, whomever, making similar eye contact with another woman at a bowling alley, and they just like no. I couldn't believe
that makes so much sense.
How sex addicts are able to find each other in a crowded room. It really is like some sort of like knowing look. And
okay, I'm definitely not one.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one either. But like, it is cool to be in the near like this vicinity of one, because it is like, oh, this is a whole world I'm completely oblivious to. You know?
What do you think that is? That's so interesting. Because how do you communicate because they're communicating, hey, would you be interested in just having sex anywhere as soon as possible?
Yes.
With I don't know your name.
Yes, and it's
just we're done.
Well, it's like we both have the same condition, and let's take care of this right now. Yeah.
Oof. I think that's probably the worst addiction. In a way that seems like it's maybe the most dangerous addiction, right?
Not dangerous, because drugs can kill you.
Sure, but
yeah, no, it is.
You can get stuff from people, and also you can get killed by someone's spouse.
Right. No, that is true.
I fucked your wife in your garage while you were taking the groceries out to the car.
Right. She just looked at me while putting the trash in the bin, and we fucked on the trash bin, and we couldn't help ourselves.
Like, sorry, I'm less than a dog.
Yeah. How do you... But, like, to become a gambling addict, you could just, like, gamble once, and then you're hooked.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same thing? Like, you have sex once, and you're like,
God,
this is it forever.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about it. I know some people. I think I met one person maybe who was, but even then, I didn't have a concept of it.
Well, sound off in the comments if you're a sex addict.
Just email. Is it joemandy@mandy.net?
Yeah, just send like DMs. Let me know.
Is it Joe the Scribe at
bluesky.foxnews.edu? Biz. No, I'm sorry I'm bringing like a horny vibe to the podcast. I didn't mean to do that.
We take all comers here.
Mm-hmm. I bet you do.
Yeah, exactly. I said that I dipped in my well of Scribe ink and came up with that little little nod.
Your jizz well.
Yeah. We did that show the other week. I keep laughing at that.
We did like one of the most calamitous shows, and we've been doing this for a while, but that really brought me back to like the early days of doing stand-up, where just like a bar show that was completely disrupted by one family who refused to leave.
I didn't even get to see that.
Okay, so
I missed the cool aspect of it. I just got to come in there and see what was basically more comedians than audience in a place that was not built for anything but drinking and eating.
Yes. Like a outdoor patio for a restaurant.
Just truly.
But basically the show started over an hour late because this family refused to leave.
Okay.
And they knew they were being disruptive. They had children running around. They had paid the check, and they were just sitting there and defiantly talking at their table while everyone was looking at them, waiting for them
like the staff?
Yeah, the staff, the guy running the show, and
they're doing it on purpose, you think?
Yeah, it seemed like they were like, how dare you ask us to leave? Yeah, it was really quite bizarre.
Why didn't they just start the show?
Literally, because they had to move their table.
Oh, right.
yeah, it was bad.
It probably would have been better if they just did the show with them there and kind of like, nothing makes people leave faster than comedy.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing worse. Really, there's nothing worse when you think about it than comedy.
I've been saying that for years. Yeah.
It's kind of like the most embarrassing thing that's ever existed.
It really is humiliating.
It is. Especially in that experience was a clear reminder to me, like, you are nothing, my friend.
Yeah, truly.
You are.
Yeah,
you are shit.
this is
You're
not
trash.
a real form of art. Yeah.
But it is nice to be able to do that and not have it be a thing where I'm thinking about it afterwards. Like I really, you know what I mean? It feels good to be able, because maybe 5-10 years ago that would have affected me.
Oh, would have?
I think it would have.
What's wrong
you
with
just
me?
gotta
laugh. Sometimes you gotta eat that humble pie.
Yeah.
Bring you back down to earth.
But what you said about because you won an Emmy,
Mm-hmm.
which is the highest form of achievement
For a
in
scribe, that
television
is the
for a
goal.
tribe.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, your joke was great about the Emmys, but I'm just, the second you said Emmy, just to see you in that setting, like, what a fucking, how hilarious is Hollywood?
I know.
You know what I mean?
That was like literally like a week after winning an Emmy, and
you're doing something that is open to, there's no gate to entry whatsoever.
Right.
There's no like praise. There's nothing at all. It's just the most mundane thing, and most mundane, embarrassing thing possible right after the opposite thing.
And just like, failing out loud in public. It rules. Yeah.
That's why, I mean, so many people don't realize how like front-facing Hollywood really is. Like everything is fake.
It's
behind
brutal.
behind the backstops,
Yeah, I went to a party last night it was like in the like butthole of Hollywood, and you had to like walk down the Walk of Fame.
Really?
To get into this
like
bar.
a house party, or like
it was at a bar.
Okay.
And
like a release, like a music release.
It was
party.
Exactly what it was.
'Cause it's Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm good.
I saw that was incredible. Someone like had just made. I'm hoping it was a dog, but I imagine it was a human. Had like pissed on a wall, and the piss was like running down the sidewalk. Fresh piss onto one of the stars of a dead, celebrity whose name I didn't recognize. But I was just like, that's the goal, essentially, to when you live in LA, is to get a star on this sidewalk so that years after your death, there's just like fresh piss.
Oh, right on top.
On top of it.
It is crazy how many of those people are completely, I have no idea who they are.
I know.
Like, no idea. It's someone who probably made tons of money, was super famous, but just no idea.
Yeah, and they were so famous at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think about Mark Twain, how many people, who?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's maybe one of the most famous people to ever live on the history of the planet.
Right.
Who wasn't a murderer.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? He was so accomplished. He like did so much stuff, like 100 years ahead of his time. But there's so many people who literally like, I don't know who that is.
Right.
Not even haven't read. Just don't even know. Don't even know.
Right.
And you're an American, and you went to school and stuff, and you have
Yeah.
like a job, and you're not like an idiot. You know how to drive a car. You can do all kinds of stuff, and you seem like really, really like with it. But you're like, wait, that's is that the Huck Finn guy?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's the Huck Finn guy. So
Well, they know I think most people they think of him as Sam Beckett, so maybe that's.
That's true. Most people know him before his pen name.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really the thing, because marking Twain is obviously a reference to ships.
Not sailing necessarily,
Sailing,
but
Yeah, if it floats
everything
in
comes
water.
back to boats.
The boats. Are you a boat fan?
I'm I'm very much not. In fact, I was just telling someone the other day, I can't imagine owning a boat.
Well, the upkeep.
Let
me tell you.
I'm so neurotic that like to own something where that's just in the water, anytime there's bad weather, I'd be like freaking out about my boat. Like, where do I take my boat?
That's why you pay a cokehead to take care of it.
Yeah, see, I don't need people on my payroll.
You
like
gotta have
that.
some cokehead who lives at the boatyard who's like on top of it with the dry dock.
Is that what people do? What's a dry dock?
It's like where they take it out of the water. That's where they store it. Like usually in the
okay.
winter, if you live in like a cold place, then
Yeah.
you dry dock your boat.
I guess I'm thinking
Yeah.
like of a warm place, like in Florida. Whenever they show bad weather, or like tropical storms,
Oh my
those
God, yeah,
boats
those
are just
boats get
out there.
wrecked.
Oh God,
kind
I
of
don't know
the
how
part,
people
you know.
live with themselves.
Well, I think 99% of people who own boats are Trumpers. So
Quite wealthy.
white as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Somehow
Works out.
half the country owns boats.
Boats are, I mean, I would love to have a boat, but I think California boat owning is different than Florida. I would love to be a Florida boat owner. That'd be fun.
That's the goal for. I want
Yeah.
that for you.
I think I can do it. I'm worried about mixing in with that crowd, though.
We should, you know how like all the comics moved to Austin in the last few
Yeah,
years.
a lot of
We
them.
should start like a Tampa.
Tampa, I would love to do
Let's
that.
just go to Tampa.
I was in Tampa last year for like almost 2 months working on a movie, and I mean, Tampa is growing in a way, it's going crazy fast.
Yeah.
I think they say though it's not sustainable because of all the hurricane stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe there might be a sweet spot coming up here soon where we can swoop in, get some cheap property, and really.
That's
set
the
up
move, right?
yeah.
Is you buy property inland, but with looking at the projections of rising seawater. So like what's now the middle of Florida
Yeah.
will be beachfront property. That's what we do. We
down.
get all of our comic friends to move to Ocala.
Ocala.
Yeah.
That's like deep in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's going to be prime real estate.
You know, Ocala is also the lightning strike capital of Florida.
Is that true?
Actually, no, I believe it's
You
a
know
lightning
what? I
strike.
did not know that.
I went to Florida State,
Uh-huh.
so much like Matt Getz, I went to Florida State, and that's how I know about Florida. But it's lightning strike capital of the world, and I think it's the horse capital of the United States.
Whores.
Horse.
Yeah.
Horse.
Florida State's the whores capital.
It definitely is. I wish it was though, because I didn't really get to experience that, unfortunately.
What spoke to you about being a Seminole?
Literally just getting accepted.
Okay. Yeah,
I
that's a
applied to-
huge. Yeah.
Where you went to Emerson?
I went to Emerson. Yeah.
That's a good college.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah, it's better than Florida State.
well, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a state university.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has its main claim to fame is football.
Right. Emerson is 2 buildings on the Boston Common.
But isn't it now Emerson's sort of built itself as like, hey, you want to make it in comedy? Emerson.
It
baby.
is, and it's a
That's their
problem.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, right? Cause
You can't get it because it's like it's truly one of the few things where like getting a degree in comedy is meaningless. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like you can't show up to a comedy club being like, I have an BFA.
I'd like to apply.
And, yeah,
I have
exactly.
a BFA. I'm a magna cum laude in punch up.
Yes, right. I'm kind of a story guy.
You are a story guy though.
Yeah,
Truly.
yeah, but they're I guess as in writers' rooms, like pretty early on, people sort of establish themselves as joke guys or story.
Are you
guys.
joke or story?
I'm more of a joke guy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's more fun, right?
Well, I mean, it's just like what your strengths are.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
I'm
story
most
to me is-
valuable punching stuff up and
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
That's nice, actually. Have you ever done like punch up or something crazy, huge, where like you go in there, you like sign a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, like there's been some like animated things I've done and like
we
massive.
gotta make this funny.
Yeah,
So they
a lot
bring
of
in some-
pressure, and then
Is it?
well, no, I mean like pressure in the sense that you have to sign a bunch of NDAs
Right.
and stuff, and these are like massive franchises, but then it's the same old bullshit of just saying whatever comes to your head, and then they use a couple of the jokes, and the rest is thrown in the garbage. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. I've never been asked to do punch up. I wanted to do it so bad. I think I always end up doing it in auditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do an audition, and they're like, "That's great," and they give it to someone else, and
You think they use your jokes?
oh, I know.
That's crazy.
I know
That's
at
illegal,
least-
and we are going to report them.
Is it illegal though?
Yeah, they can't do that.
But I mean, well, the things that they can't do, There's so many
I
things they
know.
can't do, they do.
I know.
Like when they tell you, like, okay, come in. So this is just a temp script. Make it your own. Come up with some stuff. They're 100% farming for free.
Right.
And they do, and you know that, like, when I've had jokes that are so specific, I see them. It's like, come on.
Right.
I know that was me.
I had friends who worked on a show that was like, they were told they leaned on the actors' improv chops very heavily, and then they would get
Won an Emmy?
sides. They would get sides the next day, and all of their banter that was fully improvised was like worked into the sides, as if it had been written.
But
It's crazy.
Was that in rehearsal or something, or when was that?
No, just like the previous day's jokes had been reworked into the script, and then because sometimes things are like
Out of
so
order?
like if it was like intercut, like the other side of the phone call, like all the improv stuff from side A would be put in. Yeah, it was
That's actually kind of cool though, because it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work that the writers are not doing.
But someone's doing that.
The writer's assistant is plugging stuff in. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole improv thing on set, it's very much, I don't know. I used to be all about it, like hardcore when I first started. And I think back to some meetings I had with showrunners and stuff.
Yeah.
They would look at me kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just trying not to be mean, but to be like, no, we're not going to do that.
It is, it's a delicate thing.
It is.
Because, like, if you're good at it, then it's like, it's such a plus.
Right.
But there are times you like get so annoyed watching auditions and the person is just putting so much of their own spin on stuff that it's like, well, we can't
inside of it or at the end, like buttoning it.
Inside, just like all throughout, and it's
See, that's
like
weird, yeah.
you can't we can't gauge how you are as an actor because like you're making it so much your own that it doesn't even. Like, you can't compare it to the other people. I learned so much about auditioning from working, like, as a writer on a TV show.
Because you see the tapes and stuff. So, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You see the
seeing
tapes.
people's auditions.
Yeah, it's mortifying, but it's also, like, the way people get cast is so, like... But you can't even describe how out of the person's control it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it'd be like, oh, his face is too long.
Right.
Next. Like they don't even get a chance. Like it'd be like,
but that's a thing where that's real though. It's a thing where I've had a limited experience of it, but when I have, it could be someone who I know, someone who's I think is really great, but it's like this is you're just not the person.
Right. No, totally. Yeah. No, I'm not saying like
Yeah.
this is the wrong way to go. It's just like it's heartbreaking to know like, oh, someone spent like half a day learning these lines.
A day, maybe like longer.
Yeah.
And how dismissive. It's so dismissive.
It's so rude. So like it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
This town is rough, dude. This town is rough.
It's the roughest place. It's weird. It's like an onion of roughness where the longer I'm here, the more I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It really is fucking shitty.
Yeah.
You have to be such a goddamn psychopath.
Yes.
To wait it out.
To get and then you get your star, and then someone pisses on it. Man. I gotta move to Tampa. I think that
What thought made you think about Tampa specifically?
Well, we were just talking about Florida. No. I actually do think. I have friends in Minnesota that are really pushing for me to move back to Minnesota fully on some climate change shit.
I mean, I've thought about it a lot moving to Minnesota just because it is very nice there.
Yeah.
And the climate change aspect is great as well because there's fresh water.
I have, my friend who is becoming a doomer prepper is like, there's fresh water everywhere. Like the winters will be mild soon.
I mean, mild is a relative term there for sure.
Right.
But even then, it's very nice there. It's very pleasant. It's very like.
It rules.
It's great.
It is so when it's nice out there, it is so nice.
Yeah,
it's just
the air too. is so clean and so much. It's just a different thing completely. It feels like the air here is nice, but the air here is so dry
Yeah.
that you don't really smell stuff. It's so humid there that you feel like there's like fungus and mold and stuff.
Going right into your lungs.
I like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
like the smell of like living, kind of like, I don't know, something about it. It's nice.
Yeah, it's
The
nature.
life
You
smell.
know you're in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I had enough money, I maybe would buy. You gotta buy some Lake Michigan or Lake Superior property.
You'd buy
right?
whole Lake Michigan?
I would buy Lake Michigan for the price of $2 a bucket. That's what we're just going for. That's the old Mark Twain price, $2 a bucket. So it's gonna be $100,000. I would love to get it. Someone told me, some person, this is probably not credible, but that the Chinese are buying up a lot of land along Lake Superior, along the freshwater lakes.
That is, yeah, we're being told it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Behind the camera says it is true. I mean, it's almost nothing you can't blame on the Chinese. So,
No.
without actually knowing.
I also, like, it's funny to live in America at this moment because we're so obviously in the collapse stage of an empire. And, like, this notion that politicians bring up, like, as if we're going to stop China from taking over. It's like, no, it's happening. Like, what are you talking about? We're not stopping. Like, it's theirs.
Like, China in the 1950s had 0 railroads. Now they have 10,000 of them, and they all go faster than our fastest one. Like, what happened? Well, how'd you guys do that?
This country
you guys
sucks,
do
man.
that, man?
How do we not have, like, high-speed rail?
That's the thing. It's so embarrassing. The thing. It's such a big failure. It makes me want to be like, America's strength is going back to just sort of real agrarian. You don't know your neighbor or you're scared of them.
Right.
You know, distance.
Right.
Distance, isolation,
Paranoia,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Xenophobia.
Trees. Using like, because so much of America is based upon, what is it? The deposits from glacial. The glacial deposits that created the great soil, like in the Midwest, like we have the richest soil, that stuff, and the fact we have all this timber, we have so many natural resources. Just go back to being like, using those sparingly and like living in a hole.
Yeah, so you're sort of pitching going back like 400 years.
Yeah, honestly, I think that might be the best case scenario.
Do you ever see Vavitch? The Vavitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got the religious aspect to it.
Right, but that is America as well. I think
true.
that's a very, like, what is that called? That's like a Gothic tale, but it is like, that is America,
Hardscrabble.
like, just like, living off the land and being completely frightened about your surroundings.
Yeah, I suppose I would like to have more of a tribal existence. Something like that.
Yeah. I'm not, I think we're heading there. So your dream's about to come true. I think a lot of people are going to start distrusting their neighbors.
Or if they're not your neighbor, you have to all be part of the same thing. And if you're not inside the walls, you're not part of the same small collective, then you don't know. You can't trust that person. You don't go out alone unless you're doing a vision quest or some sort. You just can't do that.
I like this.
I mean, it's really what I've always wanted since I was a kid.
To be like
to
a
live,
Mayan.
Essentially, maybe not a Mayan, maybe more an Iroquois.
Okay. Yeah, no,
like
it's
that.
a little bit further north. Yeah.
It would be
cool.
It might be
We
difficult.
should go back to tribes.
Yeah.
Can I be in your tribe?
You can be in my tribe.
I wonder how we delineate, but yeah, I could get down with
Well,
that.
I think it's gonna be each by their own. What's that fucking say? Isn't it a saying at Auschwitz or something terrible? There's some terrible saying.
Well, there's so many good
that sounds
sounding.
good.
There's
Right.
so many good.
Work will set you free. It's
Right,
Auschwitz, but isn't there
yes.
something each by the merit of their own hand or something? Some
That
bullshit
sounds
like that.
right.
There you go, communism.
Communism.
Yes.
Each according to their own needs.
Which. Yeah.
Yeah, take care of disabled people.
Yeah, I'm
if
fine
they're
with
in
that.
your tribe.
And what will happen is after 100 years, there probably won't be any disabled people because we just can't. We don't have enough. We're living so close to the bone.
Yeah.
That we're just like fucking.
This is dark. Your vision is dark, but
I mean, it's dark. It's it's dark, but the darkness of it is what makes it easy.
Yes, right.
What makes it? It's the simplicity of it.
It is
It's terrible.
It is the road. You ever see the
but
road?
yeah, but the road's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring it to
like mid-apocalyptic.
or like basically just pre-industrial. I don't know if you. What's that saying? You can't go home again.
Can't go home again.
You know, we can't undo this. Like we can't unknow technology. You know what I mean?
I think we can is the thing. I think the thing that's scary about not remembering
Right.
things and relying on Google and now AI is
Oh.
that at some point, like we're gonna lose all tangible knowledge. We'll always be relying on computers to feed it to us, and then if the computers shut down, then we're back to
fucked.
zero, and we're back to tribal
Yeah.
lifestyle. So
You're back to relying on the guy who.
I
knows
think
how to
it's
do
I think we
stuff.
promote AI to get there faster. You know what I'm saying? Like right
You
now.
just trying to speed it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. That's why, as much as like, you know, there's sort of some chaotic. The future is going to be chaotic, for sure, but maybe it's a good thing because it's going to speed along the inevitable
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid as opposed to pulling it off slowly.
I just hope the AI overlords recognize how cool I've been about bots, and
God.
I just want them to much
know
like
you're
much
pro.
like how I feel about China taking over. Like
Yeah.
I haven't said anything negative about China, so I must be spared. I hope to be spared by them.
I don't think I've
Yeah.
said anything negative about China, but I feel like, I don't know. I haven't said enough pro. I mean, I am complimenting them right now. I'm
Yeah,
saying like
exactly.
the rail thing. God,
Love your rails.
It's incredible.
I want to learn. I need to learn Chinese. Like John Cena was very smart.
Dude. I don't think he actually learned it. I think he just learned just enough to do that so it sounded good.
Okay, I mean, I fell for it.
Oh, I totally did.
Yeah.
The fact that he had to do that tells you everything you got to know.
I took Chinese in junior high, but it
did?
wasn't available to me when I got to high school, so I just lost it. But
You
I
know
could like
Fatum?
talk to waiters and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah. I knew enough to be like,
Wow.
I'll order this. How are you?
Damn. They must
Yeah.
like you.
They loved me. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. And I just lost that ability.
Wow. My grandpa years ago, he's been dead for a while. He was
sorry.
that's okay. He's a Southerner, you know, like a crusty Southerner, not very liberal, I think. But he one time told me years ago, I mean, I'm talking like 20 plus years ago. He's like, Johnny, you got to learn Chinese.
Really?
Yeah. And he said that probably 25 years ago. He told me that. If I had listened to him, God knows where I'd be.
I can tell a story about my grandfather, and forgive me because I am trying to figure out if this is stand up, but this is a true
okay.
story
It's
about.
okay.
I don't because I want to be open that this might turn into stand up at some point. But at this moment, it is not.
I like that.
Okay, my
I'll give you the
grandfather
floor.
was in the FBI.
Really?
Yes, and he was an FBI agent in Miami, like in the late 50s, early 60s,
What
which
the
is
fuck?
the coolest.
Jesus.
Coolest time to be a
Yeah.
FBI agent. Something went awry. Some sort of classified mission or whatever. His partner ended up calling like a talk radio station and blew his brains out while on the air.
Because of what happened?
Because of what happened, I don't know. So like the story's kind of
Wow.
fuzzy, and that is part of this. Then my grandfather was restationed from Miami to Roswell, New Mexico. So that's where my my mom like went to Roswell High School. So like
Joe.
yeah. No, okay. So then he never explained why his partner killed himself, why he was punished by being forced to stay in Roswell, but he told us that when the time was right, he would tell us what happened, right? So
Yeah.
like my whole childhood I was kind of waiting for him to tell my mother and I like what had happened. And
Did you ask him all the time?
I mean, I didn't like we
Grandpapa, tell
weren't
us
we
about
weren't like super
Roswell.
close, but like every time we like went to their place, I was kind of hoping. And so like the last time I was there when he was alive, like he was doing a crossword puzzle on his chair.
This is in New Mexico.
He lived in Florida. So we were in Florida, and he finished his crossword puzzle, and it really felt like it was going to be the time that he was going to tell me.
Right.
And went to the bathroom, and I looked at his completed crossword puzzle, and it was like a horror movie. Every clue was just the word lemonade. And it was like, oh, he's demented. Like it was like, so he like didn't remember. And then he died soon after that. But it was like, oh, whatever memory that it's gone. Like he doesn't even know what he wanted to tell us.
They scrambled him.
Yeah.
Havana syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And
shit.
and then years later, my mom got a letter from a bank in New Mexico being like, after a certain point, like they contact the next of kin because there was a safety deposit box. So she flew down to New Mexico, went to the safety deposit box in this bank and opened it up, and it was empty.
Oh, I was hoping there would be a skull of an alien in there, maybe, you know?
But yeah, maybe there was. They don't. No one gets a safety deposit box and then puts nothing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. It was.
That's. I mean, everything you told me sets off every conspiracy alarm bell I've ever had.
I know.
It's like, you know, all those guys down there in Florida that time, they were working against the commies and stuff, against Castro.
Yep.
There's all that weird shit going on. Roswell, I mean,
I know Roswell, but like that to me is
so
where
suspect.
It's suspect. But I think that was truly just a punishment.
Okay.
Because it's so in the middle of nowhere. It's a terrible place.
Yeah.
And also, you're just dealing with conspiracy theorists all day long, like weirdos coming in demanding to see like weather balloons and whatever. And you have to just be like, go away. You know, that was
But I mean, there has to have been something happened there.
For sure.
Something that wasn't like able to be disclosed.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Wow. So your grandfather definitely knew something.
For sure. Yeah.
So is there like a Wikipedia entry about any of that stuff at all, maybe?
We did. My mom did like a Freedom of Information Act and like requested my grandfather's FBI file, and we got it.
Really?
And it was like 400 pages, like boxes of paper,
way.
but it was all blacked out.
All of it.
all up until like a certain point, they did background on my grandmother and how crazy my grandmother was, and then a little bit about my mom as a child, some stuff about that, and then at a certain point, pages and pages and pages of black, everything redacted. Yeah.
Wait, so your grandma was crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Like in what sense?
Deeply mentally ill, bipolar.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
So very fun.
Yeah, she was chill.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Great at parties.
Yes, also agoraphobic, so never left her house. So yeah, we're huge at parties. Yeah.
So she was with your grandfather that entire time?
No, they yeah, but also they were white trash. Like they got married and divorced multiple times.
Oh, wow,
so like
that's cool.
just constantly fighting and breaking up their marriage and then getting back together.
But they're white trash from
New Mexico.
They're from New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, so you went back to New Mexico.
Yeah, my whole mom's side of the family is New Mexico.
So they're not Jewish.
No, my
They're
mom
white trash.
converted. Yeah, my
Do
mom.
you feel like that? Do you feel like you kind of have a foot in both worlds in that sense?
No, because like I guess genetically that is half of me.
But don't you think that's real though?
For sure, but but like that whole side of the family was sort of I was sort of protected from it
because
a
they're
bit.
so
Yeah.
wild and
not
not very good for kids.
But it does explain my love, sort of intrinsic love for country music.
Really?
Yeah,
You have a love of country music?
I do.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah, but outlaw country mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite stuff from that era?
I mean, I would say the Highwaymen is the best super group ever
That's pretty great.
compiled. Though I love all those guys. So Waylon, Willie, Johnny
Yeah.
Cash, Chris Christopherson kind of snuck in there, huh?
Yeah, for some reason I never was a big fan of him, but I think I'm a fan of him. But his music, I never got into it. I don't know why.
I kind of feel the same way, but it is
Yeah.
cool that he was in Blade
I think it's
and The
'cause
Highwayman.
He was probably one of the coolest men of the last 100 years. I
Yes.
think so. I think when you're that cool and that like your voice sounds like that and you're just super attractive.
I also
kinda
love
just go where you want.
I love any country musician who has good politics. Like
Oh,
he was
yeah,
one of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Willie Nelson's always been one of them.
You can do that
yeah.
back then. I feel like now.
Oh, you're fucked if you
if you have good politics,
cannot.
you have to get famous and then like
and then yeah,
there's one guy who does actually.
right. I don't even.
It's Sturgill's different. Sturgill's
No,
like,
but it is that guy like
The guy who looks like
Aldine, not
Freedom.
not Aldine.
not Jason Aldean. It's
Guy who looks like Fatum.
He does.
He does look like
He looks
Fatum.
so
yeah.
much like
Let's just say
Fatum.
it's Josh Fatum.
Yeah, it's Josh Fatum. That guy has good politics.
yes.
But I don't think he came out with them until.
And
he
then it
was,
hurt
like,
his career, obviously.
Did it really?
Yeah, I mean, like he's
God, it's so fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Dixie Chicks
and the
got
chicks, of
fucked.
course,
The
yes.
chicks. But I wasn't really into the Dixie Chicks anyways, you know.
I've sort of had a new appreciation for them. They pop
Really?
up on my Spotify occasionally, and I'm like, this is good.
They pop up in your Spotify.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That means you actually do like country. If you have that pop up on Spotify.
My Spotify is
Damn.
very bipolar because
Mine's
it's
broken.
like it's country music, but then like trap music as well,
Okay.
like Memphis rap. So
Who's that? Petey Pablo's Memphis? David
he-
Banner.
no, David Banner's Mississippi.
Right, okay.
No, this
Who's
is
Memphis?
3-6 Mafia Project
Trillville?
Pat. Who?
Trillville?
Trillville,
Yeah.
sure. I think they might be
Project Pat, man.
Project Pat is the king.
3-6 Project Pat.
Then you get like Key Glock, Young Dolph. They're sort of the new up and comers. Moneybag Yo. I went to see Moneybag Yo live.
This is new?
He's new. He was signed by former Memphis Grizzlies power forward Zach Randolph. Signed him to his.
Wait, he has a label?
He has a label, and then
Moneybag.
Moneybag Yo is like a huge rap star now. And I always think it's
Wow.
funny that Zach Randolph like signed him.
Is he a white guy?
Very much not. No.
Zach Randolph.
Oh no, not he. He as well is not.
That sounds like a white guy. That sounds like a white guy, right?
It could be, yeah.
I think all Zachs are white in my. If I hear Zach, I'm like, that's
Honestly,
a white guy.
that it like yeah, he's probably one of the few Zachs who've made the NBA.
Yeah.
that is a
The
black
parents were thinking
man.
about that.
Yeah,
I'm like, let's call him Zach.
Timothy,
Yes.
Timothy Randolph.
Basketball doesn't work out.
Yeah.
The resumes are gonna make it through.
Yeah, I went to see Moneybag Yo live in LA recently with my friend Anise, and
It was good.
It was so good, but then he had like a group that tours with him called Loaf Boys. So Loaf Boys kept coming out, and
Right.
they were
Not good.
not ready for prime time. It was very much like bring Moneybag Yo back on.
I haven't seen a rap show in so long. I don't even think it would be prepared for what it would be like.
It's awesome.
Like,
I'll
it
go with
seems-
you.
okay.
Yeah.
I just got into Mike Jones again.
Oh, meet the best.
I got into him like for real.
Who?
Mike
Jones?
Jones.
Mike
Like,
Jones.
that shit is so
It
fucking
was
good.
so good, and it's also so
It's
funny
still
to
great.
have like the most boring name and make it your whole identity.
Such a
and
badass.
make people yell the words Mike
With his
Jones
phone
at
number
you.
in there and shit.
That was a great era. Like
Oh, yeah.
Paul Wall's still doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
he's
is,
just doing it for the love of the game because he makes all his money from selling grills.
He does, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
truly. Yeah.
Like he's like an empire of
Yeah,
girls.
he has an empire of grills in Houston, and then
amazing.
occasionally he'll jump on a track, and he's still got
Paul
it.
Wall.
He rules.
I think Devin's still at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should be bigger though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who should be bigger. I guess it's just how it is, right? It's like a thing where I don't know. You can't. Music industry is strange. Some of those older rapper dudes, they're very like I don't want to say bitter. They're very just kind of standoffish about how they talk about the business. You know what I mean?
I understand that. I mean, basketball players are certainly like that.
Really?
Yeah, because
who?
like any basketball player from when we were
I know nothing about. I know so little about basketball.
yeah.
I recently watched last year when Minnesota was in the finals. I watched Ant-Man, like a clip of Ant-Man stuff, and I was like, God damn, He's good.
He's
like I can tell he's good, and I don't know.
He
that guy is fucking good.
There's like a 7-minute chunk in my special of just me
really
glazing Anthony Edwards. Yeah, just love him.
Yeah, that guy's stunning.
What
you're saying about
it's because
bitter?
it's just like the natural trajectory of something like this. Like guys who played in the 90s, 2000s,
yeah.
like they ended their career with a good chunk of money, but like their career earnings, you know, if you were good and played for a while, be like $30-40 million.
Right.
And now guys who are not even that good make that in a year, you know?
Wow.
So like there are certain guys who like leave the NBA having never really achieved much with like hundreds of millions of dollars.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, professional sports, it's good to do that, to play professional sports.
Yeah, if you can I recommend anyone listening, like get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Become a pro athlete.
I wish I had done it. If I had started younger, I think we would not be having this conversation right now.
I was so delusional. There was a period of time when I lived in New Mexico where I truly thought, you know, do you remember Bo Jackson?
Of course.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be the Bo Jackson.
Bono Sports.
So that was my plan.
Yeah.
Was to be a Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson type figure.
To do both.
To play professional basketball and host.
How old were you?
Like 9. Professional basketball and host Weekend Update. Like that was my plan. Like I was like,
wow.
Yeah. I was like, I think like
Damn.
I was like, I'll have to figure out because they do overlap. So I can't play on Saturdays, obviously, but I think that, like I'll be so good the rest of the time that they'll let me take Saturdays off.
That would be. I mean, there's probably someone who could do something like that.
Sudeikis can ball. I know that.
Not for real though, huh?
He plays in like charity events. He was on. I know for a fact he was on like an AAU team. So
What's AAU mean?
That's like the pros in high school. It's like anyone who is like good at basketball plays in AAU. Yeah.
He's not that tall, is he?
He's pretty tall.
I mean, he was my dad for a whole season of TV, but
yeah,
we didn't work together physically, but yeah, we never had.
That was his choice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a waiver. I had a 100-foot radius. him and Terrence Howard. Yeah.
I
couldn't touch him.
Is that true?
No, I saw him a bunch of times in the Fox lot.
Dude, I'm so obsessed with Terrence Howard's.
What a guy.
His new math.
There's a lot of people who I've told that about because I've been on that for years.
Me too.
Now.
I have a T-shirt. I bought one of his T-shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
So the other day I was having like a moment where I was like thinking about this is so dumb, but you know what Bernoulli's principle is?
I know the Bertucci's principle.
Okay.
That's
Bernoulli's is really simple. It's the reason planes fly. It's because
it's the airflow over there.
When air moving fast creates area of low pressure.
Bertucci's is an Italian restaurant in
Boston. Bertucci's principle means you eat there, you will shit good for 2 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is it?
I've always like been. I don't know. I think about that a lot. And you ever think about how you would be if you smoked meth? You know what I mean?
Constantly.
Like what you'd be obsessed with?
Yes.
Like what you'd be writing on the walls naked?
Because I watch a lot of Intervention, and those are the best episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like some of those people you do like, I like this person.
I know. There was an episode, there's a meth episode of Intervention with a lumberjack. He would get cranked up and chop down trees. like with
cranked up and chopped down trees.
Yeah, dude, and
phrase.
he was wild with it, like swinging around so like with a running chainsaw, fucking crazy, and he kept like yelling into the camera like that he discovered burl. You know what burl is?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like a cancerous growth on a tree,
but it's beautiful.
When you get it. So he'd be like so cranked up and like looking at the camera, being like, I've just chopped down like $100,000 worth of burl, and he'd throw it in the back of his car, bring it into town, and then the guy would look at it and be like, none of this is usable. Like, I'll give you $20 just to leave. Like, it was like he was so convinced he had like $100,000 of burl, and the guy's like, this is like true garbage. Like, get out of my face. And it was just like, heartbreaking. Yeah. So I do wonder what my like
what was
method
your obsession? Because mine would definitely be Bernoulli's principle. I'd be thinking about it all the fucking time. like how it scales. I'd be naked,
Yeah.
writing on the fucking walls
Yeah.
of someplace. Just go. I mean, it probably feels kind of good in a sense, you know.
I think I would get because I am such a basketball obsessive.
Right.
There's a thing called the trade machine online where you can create like hypothetical trades. So I think I would get cranked up and like try to compile like 10 team trades that like would all work mathematically,
Like
and
the
it would just like
Matrix.
totally change the entire league, but it would all like work out through the salary cap, and then like send and then like print it out and send
Yeah.
those trade requests to.
That's the key. That is the
Yeah.
key to madness. The key to madness is printing things out and sending them unsolicited.
Yes.
That is the line.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of stuff as long as you don't print it out and send it to somebody you don't know. You're not that
This was my
crazy.
job. This was my job at the Maury Povich show. Is I would
Really? You worked at Maury Povich?
I was an intern at Maury Povich, and my
Holy
job that I self-selected,
God.
I would read the mail,
Oh my!
and the
fucking
mail was
God.
fucking like
You could
wh-
like sell that shit on eBay. Probably.
well,
It's so
I
good.
did steal a bunch of it and did a show at UCB where I just
Oh.
read the letters.
That's the goal. I was the golden age
Yeah.
of comedy. That was
Yeah.
golden age.
It was but like a lot of the letters were like so completely insane and manic that it was wonderful.
You're listening to Coast AM.
Is that Art Bell?
It was Art Bell.
Yeah.
But now it's George.
My
Murray.
dad
Has
listened to
been for a
Art
while.
Bell a lot.
Yeah.
He like kind of had insomnia or something, so
Oh yeah.
he would listen to like Art Bell all night.
It is the
yeah.
insomniac's go-to.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Who hosts it
people,
now?
George Norrie. He's hosted it for about 20 years.
Yeah,
almost,
okay.
But George Norrie. I mean, it's still the same show.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Friday night on open lines, you will hear someone call in who I've had to pull over because I have to record this. This is so deliciously mad.
Yeah.
It is a perversion of thought that you put me in a box for 100 years, I would never go to think this. I would never think this is a thing that's happening. And I always tell people, like, if you need to, like, if you have like writer's block or you need an idea, just listen to one episode of Open Lines and steal everything.
Right.
Because it's all there. It's all just sitting there.
Right. And you know what? If you stole something and got it made, that
Oh my
person
God.
would lose their mind so much
Yes.
that they would call back and you just get more ideas. Like it's a delicious cycle.
So you're telling me that Joe Mande, the Hollywood scribe,
this simple scribe.
stole your
Yeah.
idea from that you didn't tell anyone about rabbits being in control of the United States Senate. It's like,
Is that like I mean it's that kind of thing.
It's,
yeah.
it's even better than that. Like that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. It's something where you just can't. Like it's like a guy who's saying that only his eyes can see a certain color, and he can't tell anyone because if they do, they'll kill him.
Most
like,
of
oh,
my
man.
most of my TikTok algorithm are like genuinely insane
Man.
people. And it's,
I got a re-algorithm. They should be a service. They take your Spotify, they take your TikTok,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey man, I went down a bad place. I'm seeing stuff about the election. I'm seeing stuff that I don't want to see. Can you redo it for
Yeah.
me? I want to see this.
I put so much work in. I'm like, I know I'm a scribe. I know I'm a stand-up comic, but
Right.
at this point, I spend most of my time curating my Instagram stories, of
Oh.
downloading TikToks that I've discovered on my own, and
Right.
and I'm really proud of the work I do. So yeah, I think it's worth following me on Instagram. I'm not even promoting my work. It's my work as a curator of
Your stuff,
Instagram
I-
reels.
Your stuff is great. There's so much stuff that you see that you've done. Even remember texting you one time out of the blue, like maybe it was probably 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
because you did that thing. You did something I've never seen anybody who doesn't work in a content farm in
Mm-hmm.
Taiwan do, which is putting like a fucking pressure. What did you put a fucking pressure washing video on the lower half of a stand-up clip? And I saw that.
Yeah.
My face just went, oh my God, this is so fucking genius.
Yeah, I
Like,
really wish
it's
that popped
just-
off, but it was like, I had to get someone to even understand what I was talking about to help me make it. But yeah, just and the guy who helped me just like so matter of fact. He's like, "Oh, internet slop. Yeah, I'll make it.
Yes.
I'll make a slop. I'll make slop for you."
It's so
Yeah.
good. It's got kind of thing where if that, like for that to go, I'm sure a lot of our peers that goes unnoticed because they're fucking dorks.
Yeah.
And they don't know about like, fun acoustic bullshit on the internet.
Sure.
But when I do see it, I'm just like, this is so, like, I just couldn't believe it.
I do have projects like that. I was doing
dead.
a thing for a while where I was having AI write what they think my stand-up sounds like, and then I had AI use my voice to voice the AI
Oh,
stand-up.
you use like 11 Labs?
Yeah.
God, that
And so it was my voice with AI generated stand up that's in my voice comedically, and then had like a CGI version of me delivering it. And it was just it was like so confusing that it was impossible to like gain entry to it, because it was just like people watched it like, what is this? But it was very fun to do. It was a fun experiment. And then I had a friend say that like I guess by doing that, I lent my voice to 11 Labs. Right?
Yeah.
They own it.
You always, for anything you do.
But then my friend said that he was using 11 Labs for something else, and like was clearly fed my voice, like not intentionally, but like isn't that scary? Like I was talking.
It's very possible that it's because of the paranoid me says listening. They know your friends, and it wasn't an accident. It's a thing where it's like
I feel like I'm like a coast to coast caller.
Yeah.
And then my voice is in the cloud, and they're using it.
They are listening to us. They really are.
I know. I hate that like we've all just accepted that like your phone hears you discuss
Constantly.
rabbits controlling the Senate, and then like later I'll just get a thing being like, do you want some rabbits?
Yeah.
Rabbits for sale.
Maybe it was a year or two ago, I was really into Korn, the band. I mean, not the food. I do like the food Korn. I do like it.
Look, man, if that's your thing, you just don't let it be the staple of your diet, because it doesn't have enough nutrition.
No,
you
it
need to
doesn't.
add other.
Corn really is. You know when they say like corn sugar is bad and stuff? I was making like a little simple syrup the other day, and I smelled it like, this smells like fucking corn.
Yeah.
Like corn is sugar.
Yes.
The idea that corn syrup is not sugar is bad. It's like,
It's just not sucrose, right?
yeah, it's the same. It's the
It's
same
fructose.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Either way, I was into the band Korn with a K.
Yeah. Backwards
a
K.
lot for like maybe a year and a half last year or something like that. And at one point, I was at home with Britt, and I said, "Hey, computer, play Korn music." And I didn't. I was just saying as a joke, right? Just to bother her. And nothing happened. But then it was like an hour later, we're hearing this weird sound. It sounds like fucking like sex sounds and shit. Like, what the fuck? It was on a Friday night. It was so scary. And we thought, like, there was the sounds of sex pumping into our house. I'm like, this is so fucking scary. We thought someone was outside of our house, like the front window, like moaning and stuff. And I had like a fucking knife, like a big machete, walking around the house trying to find where the sound's coming from. And I realized it was coming from her Amazon speaker in her office. I'm like, oh my! I had a cold sweat. I was scared because it was so loud and so scary. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And we see it was playing
Porn music?
It was playing porn music. I kind of fucked if this was a joke, I fucked it up. But
yeah, no, I mean, I was just like, I couldn't.
But it took us a full 3 days to realize it was from me saying corn, and it misheard it and said it was porn.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, we have to change our Wi-Fi password. Oh, some kids drove by and hacked into us, and we're playing. Just some kids, But I'm also thinking, like, this is fucking scary as shit. It's like a surveillance thing. Some person's maybe, like, going to watch us in the shower. And then when I found out you can access your Amazon log, all the commands, and I must have said, it heard me. You can hear it. You can literally... It stores the recording of your voice.
No.
So I hear my voice saying, computer, play corn music. And it's like it heard porn. And that's why it played that. But we didn't hear it because the first hour of it playing music was like something so soft.
But also that's
like
on TikTok, you can't say the word porn.
Yeah.
So people on TikTok say corn.
They do?
For porn. Yes. And it is like, there's something so humiliating about being an adult.
Having to parse your words.
Yes, like when people are like, this is deadly serious, our democracy's taking away, people are being unalive.
Yeah.
and it's like all these like workaround words, and I know like they have to use them or they'll get
like demonetized
or whatever. But it is
put
like
the video out,
humiliate. You should be able to say kill. I say kill yourself all the time.
I do. I recommend it to all people.
Yeah, anyone on the frickin' road.
You mean on the road
I'm
stand up?
No, I mean like driving. I say kill yourself a lot.
I haven't said that. I did yell at a lady yesterday, actually, because this accident was parked in the middle of the road, and I said, move your fucking car out of the road.
Mm-hmm. Did she hear you?
Of course. I said it loud, and I was real close.
Nice.
I would have said something. If it was a man, I would have said something different.
Uh-huh.
I would have said something really bad, but it wasn't.
So you softened it, you're saying, for this lady. Okay.
I pulled the punch.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would have said the C word.
If it was a man.
If it was a man, I probably would have said, like, you're like a dickless C word, probably.
Wow.
Something like that.
I
don't know. I haven't done that in forever, though. I really don't. I can't do that. It's not good.
It's not good because
No,
I
it's
cannot back it up.
Oh, yeah.
Like
no, who can?
Yeah, very few.
If you can back it up, you're probably in prison.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you own a gun?
No. Do you?
No, but.
Do you want to?
I don't want to. I just fear that I might have to.
I don't think you ever have to own a gun.
No?
No.
I have a pit bull that I can barely control. I think that's as good as you're going to get.
I think it's better than a gun, actually. Yeah. A big dog and knowing your neighbors, that's all. I think that's better than a gun. I love to own a gun, but I don't want that responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a thing where, I'm so depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's right there.
It's like, just take that. You take that away.
Yeah, you don't.
Then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It becomes work to end your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with the gun. It's just so easy. Such an easy fix.
This is dark. That we played a game at Parks and Rec that was so upsetting.
Played a game in the writer's room?
Played a game in the writer's room, and it was just a hypothetical where...
It was after you're done writing, right?
This is like, well, we were never working.
Really?
I mean,
is
like
that.
That job was like so much downtime. It was crazy. But we basically it was like you have half an hour to kill yourself.
Ooh.
But you can't use any like weaponry or so like what would you do to like absolutely
guarantee
assure that you.
But there must be some stipulations, like things available to you. Where are you? Are you in the office? Is that what it is?
Yeah, starting from the office.
What's the best one someone come up with?
The best one was driving to, and you have to also, it was like with traffic and stuff, but like getting to the Americana.
Right.
And getting up to the top of the parking structure and jumping off. Yeah.
That's kind of, I was hoping for something more creative than that.
Well, another one was getting your car into the LA River and then just getting it as fast as you could into like a pylon or. So yeah, I mean it was a dark conversation, but it was fun to just hear people's pitches and and really it sparked a lot of like creative, imaginary scenarios. Yeah, and it's just, and again, this is just, if you're listening, how would you do it? You have half an hour.
Send us your comments.
Yeah.
Send us your comments to Coast AM and West of the Rockies. We are here ready to take your calls with Scribe Joe Mande with his new special called.
There it is. That's how I do it.
Yeah. This thing's great. I got this for several dollars.
It looks like one of those fart machines.
It basically is. It's been modified, and now it has Halloween sounds.
Oh, I love this. I love crows. My favorite bird.
Really?
Yeah, legit.
Corvus or Corvus calyx?
Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi.
Yes. Yeah.
Corpus Christi. Crows, not ravens.
Aren't ravens just big crows? I love both,
different.
I love both, but I do think
very different.
Crows are the ones that I vibe with because they remember humans that mistreated them.
They do.
They know how to they're very spatially aware, very smart.
Oh, they're deeply smart.
Yeah.
They're considered a keystone species, evidently.
Keystone?
Yeah, which has to do with something that I can't remember, so there's no point in me even saying that,
Keystone
actually.
Light.
Keystone Light
is
is
our sponsor today.
Well, sponsored by Keystone Light. We're here with the great Jill Mande. Something I was going to ask you, I forgot what it was. I think it was something about just, do you look forward to, we'll wrap it up after this, obviously. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
But you know how like all these guys who are in politics now, like all these like Trump boys, they're all like, some nerd can come up to them, like a journalist can be like, you said this, it was bad, you said this, and they're just like, oh yeah, I don't give a they just don't care.
Yeah.
And you know, like the Onion just bought InfoWars. All this stuff to me, in some way, makes me think it's like we're about to enter this age of ultra absurdity in a way.
I feel like I'm like on a I'm like on a loop talking about this Adam Curtis documentary I saw years ago.
Which one?
Hypernormalization.
I have seen that, but it's I don't remember what exactly.
But it is basically that.
Okay.
That it is like we are entering an era where it's all absurd and mad, and
Right.
you can't even wrap your head around things in a meta sense. Like you can only focus on your like daily life because the
Yeah.
outside world is too confusing.
Because there's no standard, there's no like thing. There's so many of these guys who, when presented with something that would be the gold standard for whatever, like accountability or like that, it's blown off. But not just blown off; it's blown off so easily.
Well, and then you realize that it's like a house of cards built on norms,
Right.
and you like to live in a quote unquote normal society, at least by 20th century standards.
Yeah.
It's like you follow the norms, you follow the rules, and like all it takes is for one person, a genius who we all love, to just be like, what happens if I don't?
Yeah.
And then it just like it all kind of falls apart. And so yeah, I do think about this a lot because I very nearly got into like political science.
Okay.
Because I do care very much
Yeah.
about this stuff, but now it is like it's just a circus.
We're beyond the pale, it seems like.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like it's maybe a fun place to be for certain people, especially if you're a comedian or working that way,
Yeah.
because now it's like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You can't, it's almost like I can't even put it into words, but it feels like we're entering this time of pure and total public absurdity.
chaos,
That
absurdity. Yeah.
if you want to, you can play in that realm freely.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of like
'cause you
I've
have, yeah.
existed in this
You
place
do.
for a while.
That's why I'm asking
My
you.
friends, Mulaney did my show the other night, and he said that I'm more equipped for this time than anyone he knows because I've been living under the sort of the inevitability in my head that a Holocaust was coming at all.
Right.
I've been ready for this for years.
So why not just
why
go
not?
broke and
Exactly,
be stupid?
and
Because
be
there's no point in
a
being
maniac. Yeah.
like, yeah. Why
Yeah, it's
would
worked
you?
out well for me. So
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes next.
me too. It's gonna be. I think it will be maybe kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, and if not, we'll move to Minnesota and build a
Yeah.
bunker.
Or
yeah.
to
Or
Tampa.
Ocala. Is it
Ocala.
Ocala?
Ocala. I don't think they care how you say it.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna
Nobody
be
cares.
ours.
We
Well,
own Ocala.
Yeah. Kings of Ocala.
Thanks for being here, Joe.
Thank you for having. This was so fun.
Yeah, super fun. I mean, good people make it fun. That's how it works.
I hope you had a good time.
I had a great
and I
time.
hope the listeners
They
are nice to me.
patronize your products. You mentioned you have a show.
Yeah, I do a monthly show at Largo.
Oh, right, Largo. Yes.
You should come do it.
Anytime. I'm down.
All right.
Once I get my hair cut tomorrow, I'm down to do stuff.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is not good.
Maybe
too
when you're ready,
Maybe when I'm ready.
camera ready. Yeah.
Camera ready. Bye.